or maybe even lying forgotten in a drawer. We're talking about the legendary 1952 wheat penny, a simple 1-cent coin with an unimaginable value of $21 million. Yes, you heard that right. One small copper coin. 1 cent $21 million. So grab a cup of coffee, sit back, and buckle up as we unravel the astonishing story of the 1952 wheat penny, explore its deep American history, its unique design, the minting mystery that gives it value beyond imagination, and how a coin meant for everyday transactions became a collector's dream. Let's begin with a little trip back in time, to the year 1952. It was still healing from the wounds of World War II, the Cold War was beginning to stir, and Dwight D. Eisenhower was about to win the presidency. The average American home cost about $9,000, gas was 20 cents a gallon, and the penny, that humble copper coin, still held real buying power. But little did anyone know that one of these pennies, minted in the Denver Mint, would one day command a jaw-dropping price on the global market. The 1952 wheat penny was part of the famous Lincoln Wheat Cent series, which had been in production since 1909. Designed by Victor David Brenner, this iconic coin features the profile of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse side, a tribute to one of the most respected figures in American history. On the reverse, 2 wheat stalks frame the bold words, 1 cent and United States of America, a symbol of prosperity, agriculture, and unity. But what makes the 1952 edition stand out? Let's start with the D mint mark. That tiny letter under the date indicates that the coin was minted in Denver, Colorado, one of the most crucial mints in the United States. In 1952, over 746 million Lincoln cents were struck at the Denver Mint. So how could one of those common coins be worth over $21 million? The answer lies in a powerful mix of rarity, condition, historical significance, and minting anomalies. Among the massive number of pennies struck in Denver that year, there were a few special ones, extremely rare coins that managed to survive in pristine, uncirculated condition. Most 1952 pennies were tossed into cash registers, used for candy bars and newspapers, and worn down by years of handling. But one coin, yes, just one, somehow escaped circulation. It was never touched by human hands, never scraped by pocket change, and maintained its original mint luster for over 70 years. It remained untouched, protected, and eventually graded by professional coin experts as a Mint State 68 red, a virtually flawless example. It retained its sharp details, rich red-orange copper color, and mirror-like shine. This level of preservation is so rare, it borders on miraculous. Out of hundreds of millions of coins, only 1 or 2 are known to have survived in such an impeccable state. This specific 1952 wheat penny is also believed to carry a double die error, one of the most famous types of minting mistakes in numismatic history. A double die happens when the coin die itself is improperly manufactured, causing parts of the coin's design, like the date, mint mark, or lettering, to appear doubled or slightly shadowed. For collectors, a double die error is like striking gold. It adds historical intrigue and technical uniqueness. Combine that with a nearly perfect condition, and you've got a coin that's not just rare, it's legendary. Now let's talk money. At a major international coin auction, an elite collector shocked the numismatic world when they bid $21 million for this pristine 1952 wheat penny. The bidding war was fierce. Collectors from all over the world, representing museums, private banks, historical foundations, and billionaire hobbyists, all tried to claim it. But only one succeeded, and paid a price that made history. Why would someone pay that much for a penny? Because coins are more than money, they're miniature works of art, preserved pieces of time, and symbols of national identity. For serious collectors, owning the rarest of the rare is like owning a piece of the American soul. And in the case of the 1952 wheat penny, the story, the mystery, and the sheer impossibility of its existence create a perfect storm of desire. Now, let's shift to the fun part. What should you be looking for? Here's what you need to check in your pocket change, your old piggy banks, or your grandparents' coin jars. Look for the date 1952 and the mint mark under the date. Examine the color of the coin. If it still has a shiny red or orange hue, that's a sign of high preservation. Use a magnifying glass to check for doubling. Look closely at the date and the lettering, "In God We Trust" or "Liberty." If your coin is sharp, uncirculated, and shows even a hint of doubling, get it graded professionally. Coin grading companies like PCGS and NGC can evaluate your penny and assign it a grade. If your coin ranks above MS65, you could be holding something very valuable. And if it's MS67 or higher, you might just be sitting on a multi-million-dollar treasure. Even lower-grade 1952 wheat pennies with minor doubling errors or mint flaws can sell for thousands of dollars. So don't underestimate the power of this small coin. Rumors continue to swirl that more high-grade 1952 wheat pennies are still out there, buried in forgotten collections, old coin albums, or tucked away in the bottom of antique jars in American households. If just one could fetch $21 million, imagine what others could be worth, especially if they have even rarer errors. This is why the world of coin collecting remains so exciting. Every old penny you find might be more than spare change. It could be a time capsule, a piece of history, and yes, even a life-changing fortune. The story of the 1952 wheat penny is more than just about copper and cents. It's a story of luck, survival, and hidden potential. It reminds us that even the smallest and most overlooked objects can contain astonishing value, if we just take the time to look closely. So what should you do right now? Check your drawers. Look in your jars. Search your old boxes, your grandparents' closets, your childhood piggy bank. You might be sitting on one of the rarest treasures in U.S. coin history, the 1952 wheat penny that could change your life forever. If you enjoyed this journey into coin history, make sure to subscribe to Penny Vault, give this video a big thumbs up, and share it with your friends and family. You never know who might find a fortune in their change. Until next time, keep hunting, keep collecting. Coin collectors, treasure hunters, and rare coin enthusiasts. If you've ever wondered if a single penny could change your life, you're in for an incredible ride today. Get ready, because we're diving deep into the fascinating story of the 1957 wheat penny, a tiny coin that many people overlook, but one that could be worth as much as $250,000 in the collector's market. Yes, you heard that right, $250,000 for a coin that once cost just a single cent. Now before you dismiss this as just another old penny, let me ask you a simple question, ***, do you know what's hiding inside your pocket change? Because if you have a 1957 wheat penny sitting in a drawer or jar somewhere, you might be holding a piece of history that could make you incredibly wealthy. This is not just a story of copper and metal. It's a story of rare minting, historical context, unique features, and serious collector demand. So buckle up and stay with us until the end of this video, because we're going to uncover every detail about this mysterious little coin, the 1957 wheat penny, and why some of these are worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. You do not want to miss a single second. Let's take it back to 1957, a time when Dwight D. Eisenhower was president, Elvis Presley was ruling the radio, and the average cost of a new house was around $12,000. Amidst this golden age in American history, the Denver Mint was busy producing millions of pennies, known as wheat cents, because of the two iconic stalks of wheat engraved on the back of the coin. These wheat ears symbolize prosperity, hard work, and the agricultural strength of America, a design that was used from 1909 until 1958. The 1957 wheat penny is part of that legacy. Minted in Denver, Colorado, it proudly bears the D mint mark just below the year. While over 1 billion of these pennies were produced, only a handful are considered high-value collector's items, and we're going to tell you exactly why. At first glance, the 1957 penny may seem like just another old copper coin. But what turns an ordinary penny into a $250,000 treasure? The answer lies in its rarity, condition, errors, and historical context. Let's start with the rarity. Though over 1 billion were struck, not all 1957 pennies were created equal. Some of them were struck with unique errors, such as double die obverse, misaligned dies, off-center strikes, and other minting mistakes that make them extremely valuable. These errors often occurred due to pressure imbalances or faulty alignment during the minting process, and when found in pristine condition, they command top dollar at auctions. For example, a double die obverse is a type of error where the image on the front of the coin is stamped twice, slightly offset, causing a visible shadow effect, especially around the date, the words "Liberty" or "In God We Trust." These types of errors are rare and highly collectible. Then there are the proof-like finishes. These are coins that, due to exceptional striking and near-perfect preservation, shine like mirror-polished copper. A handful of these proof-like 1957 pennies have shown up in private collections and coin auctions, sending collectors into a frenzy. And now we talk about condition, which plays a huge role in determining value. A coin in circulated condition may only be worth a few cents, maybe $1. But a gem uncirculated 1957 wheat penny, graded as MS 67 red or higher by coin grading services like PCGS or NGC, can fetch tens of thousands, even hundreds of thousands of dollars. The color, red, refers to the bright coppery luster that has not oxidized over time. The redder the coin and the higher the grade, the more it's worth. Let's dive into a real-world example. Not long ago, a 1957 wheat penny graded MS 67 plus red was sold at a major coin auction for over $25,000. But one particular specimen, rumored to be the only one known with an ultra-rare die clash error and a flawless strike, has been privately valued at $250,000 by elite numismatic experts. This isn't just a collector's dream, it's a financial reality. Imagine finding a coin like that in a box of old change inherited from a relative or tucked away in your childhood piggy bank. But the story of the 1957 wheat penny isn't just about money, it's about history. This was one of the last wheat pennies ever minted. The reverse design, showing two wheat stalks flanking the words, 1 cent, and United States of America, was replaced in 1959 by the Lincoln Memorial design. That means the 1957 belongs to a disappearing generation of coins that represent a different era in American culture. Collectors are drawn to these coins because they symbolize an era of transition. The late 1950s was a period of booming prosperity, Cold War tensions, and cultural shifts. The penny may seem small, but it is one of the last remaining relics you can actually hold from that historic period. Now let's talk about how to identify if your 1957 wheat penny is worth serious money. Look for that bold D mint mark beneath the date. Examine the color. Is it bright red, brown, or somewhere in between? Bright red is the most valuable. Check for any doubling around the letters or numbers. This could mean a double die error. Inspect for unusual shapes, off-center strikes, or raised lines that shouldn't be there. These are often signs of minting errors. Consider having the coin professionally graded. A certified grading service can give your coin an official value and help you list it at auction or sell it to serious buyers. You may be wondering, who buys these coins? The answer is collectors, museums, investment groups, and private coin dealers. Rare pennies like the 1957 have become hot commodities, not just for hobbyists but for investors too. They are seen as alternative assets, tangible pieces of history that grow in value over time. So what's the current market value of the 1957 wheat penny? In circulated condition, it might be worth 5 to 25 cents. In uncirculated condition, depending on grade, it could range from $5 to $1,000. But the rarest ones, those with errors, mint brilliance, and flawless surfaces, have broken records, with values reaching up to $250,000. Let that sink in, a single penny worth $250,000. And the best part? These treasures are still out there. In jars, old albums, forgotten dressers, garage sales, estate collections, you never know where the next $1 million coin will turn up. Maybe even in your own home. So what are you waiting for? After watching this video, go check your old pennies. Look for that 1957 date, the D mint mark, and any signs of errors or incredible condition. You might just be sitting on a life-changing discovery, and if you find one, Get it graded. Protect it. And maybe, just maybe, you'll be the next lucky person to cash in big on the magic of the 1957 D wheat penny. Thank you so much for watching. Welcome to Penny Vault, the channel where we unlock the secrets hidden in your spare change and turn pocket change into treasure chests. Today, we're diving into the world of the legendary 1941 wheat penny, a coin that has shocked collectors around the globe with its fascinating history, surprising minting secrets, and its staggering market value. Yes, one specimen is reportedly worth a jaw-dropping $19 million. Let's rewind the clock back to 1941. The world was on the brink of chaos. World War II was raging across Europe. The United States was preparing to enter the war, and resources were being reallocated for the massive industrial push ahead. But in the midst of all this tension and turmoil, something extraordinary was being quietly produced in the heart of the United States Mint, a small copper coin, bearing the humble face of President Abraham Lincoln. It seemed like an ordinary penny. But some of these 1941 Lincoln wheat pennies were anything but ordinary. Before we jump into the million-dollar mystery, let's understand the basics. The Lincoln wheat cent, often called the wheat penny, was first minted in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. It was designed by Victor David Brenner and became an instant icon with its simple yet meaningful design. The obverse side featured Lincoln's dignified profile, while the reverse bore two wheat stalks encircling the words, 1 cent and United States of America. This design continued until 1958 and became one of the most beloved coin types in U.S. history. Now, zoom in on the year 1941. That year, the Mint produced a massive number of wheat pennies, over 887 million from the Philadelphia Mint, 128 million from the Denver Mint, and 92 million from the San Francisco Mint. But despite the high mintage, certain variations and minting anomalies in 1941 made a handful of these coins unimaginably rare and valuable. So, what makes a 1941 wheat penny worth up to $19 million? It's all about errors, conditions, and the mint mark. Let's start with the mint marks. In 1941, the U.S. Mint operated in 3 locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Coins from Denver carry a small D mint mark under the date, while those from San Francisco show an S. Philadelphia minted coins had no mint mark. While the standard coins are common, error coins and rare variations, especially from Denver and San Francisco, are where the magic lies. One of the most valuable 1941 pennies ever discovered had a double die obverse, an extremely rare error caused when the die used to strike the coin had a misaligned impression. This results in noticeable doubling of the date and lettering on the front side of the coin. These doubling errors can be dramatic and highly visible to the naked eye. A perfect double die in pristine condition is like striking gold in the coin collecting world. Another key factor is condition. Coin collectors use a grading scale to rate a coin's state, from poor to mint state 70. A 1941 penny graded MS 68 red or higher is extremely rare. Only a handful of 1941 wheat pennies have survived in such superb condition. The $19 million example was not only in nearly perfect mint state, but it also featured a unique error combined with a flawless strike and an ultra-rare coloration that made it unlike any other. Its story became legend, but how can a 1-cent coin become worth millions? It's all about rarity, demand, and the story behind it. Coins that survived decades without a scratch, coins struck with errors that only occurred for a few seconds on the press, coins tied to specific historical moments, all of these factors drive collectors wild. The coin that sold for $19 million was part of a private estate auction, where bidding wars broke out between 2 of the world's most elite collectors. They were not just buying metal, they were buying history, uniqueness, and bragging rights. Let's talk about how you, yes you, might own one of these treasures without even knowing it. Dig through your old coin jars, drawer stashes, or inherited coin collections. If you find a 1941 wheat penny, flip it over and look closely at the mint mark, the color, and the condition. Is it bright red? Are there no scratches, fingerprints, or corrosion? That's a good sign. Look at the date closely. Is there any doubling in the numbers or letters? That could be your golden ticket. A common 1941 wheat penny in circulated condition might fetch just a few cents to a couple of dollars. But uncirculated ones in mint state conditions have sold for thousands. An MS-67 red coin can reach between $2,500 to $12,000 at auction. If you have a proof-like strike or a rare double die variety, you could be looking at 6 to 7 figures, depending on demand. And if by some incredible luck you hold the $19 million variation, you are sitting on one of the most valuable coins in U.S. history. Let's explore why this coin has captured the imagination of collectors for generations. It's a time capsule. The 1941 wheat penny connects us to a pivotal moment in American history. It was minted at the dawn of World War II, a period that changed the world forever. Owning one of these coins is like holding a relic from the past, a tangible link to the people who lived, worked, and struggled during those uncertain times. It reflects the evolution of minting technology. The errors and variations in the 1941 series expose the flaws and limitations of the machinery used at the time. These quirks, once considered defects, are now cherished by collectors as unique signatures from history. It symbolizes the thrill of discovery. Imagine the feeling of casually finding a 1941 penny in a collection and learning it's worth millions. That's what makes coin collecting so magical. The idea that anyone, anywhere, could stumble upon a hidden treasure. So, what should you do if you find a 1941 wheat penny? Cleaning a coin can drastically reduce its value. Collectors and grading services prefer coins in their original, untouched condition. Reach out to a certified numismatist or send it to a trusted grading company like PCGS or NGC. They will professionally evaluate the coin and assign it a grade, which directly affects its market value. Store the coin in a safe, climate-controlled space, preferably in a protective holder or slab to preserve its condition. If you own a highly graded or rare-era 1941 wheat penny, it could be time to put it up for auction. High-end coin auctions, especially those hosted by Heritage Auctions or Stack's Bowers, have a global audience of elite collectors willing to pay record-breaking sums for historic pieces. In conclusion, the 1941 wheat penny is more than just a coin. It is a symbol of survival, history, rarity, and mystery. It's a reminder that even in the smallest, simplest objects, there can be immense value, both financially and historically. So, the next time you see a wheat penny from 1941, take a moment to appreciate its story. It could be a common relic from the past, or it could be your path to untold wealth. Thank you for joining us on this incredible journey into the world of the 1941 Lincoln wheat penny. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about rare coins that could be hiding in your home, hit that like button, subscribe to Penny Vault, and tap the bell icon so you never miss a coin worth millions. Until next time, keep your eyes open, your penny safe, and your treasure hunts alive. You never know, the next coin you hold might just be worth a fortune. Stay curious. Stay collecting. Where ordinary pocket change turns into legendary treasures. Today, we have something absolutely extraordinary for you. This is not just a coin story. This is a time-traveling journey back to the heart of World War II America, to a time when copper was more than metal, it was a weapon of war. And in the middle of all this came a coin that still surprises the world today, the 1945 wheat penny. What makes this tiny copper coin so valuable, so desirable, that one version of it sold for a jaw-dropping $30 million? That's what we're diving deep into in this video. So sit back, get ready, because this story is going to blow your mind. Let's start at the very beginning, the year 1945. World War II was coming to an end. American soldiers were fighting in Europe and the Pacific. The economy was focused on one goal, victory. And part of that effort involved metal. Tons of copper, nickel, and steel were diverted from civilian uses and sent to military factories. Bullets, wires, radios, tanks, they all needed these metals. Because of this, the U.S. Mint had to get creative. The production of coins was not a top priority during wartime, but money still had to circulate. That's where the wheat penny enters the scene. The Lincoln wheat penny, first introduced in 1909, was already a favorite among collectors and everyday Americans alike. The design, featuring President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and 2 wheat stalks on the reverse, symbolized unity, prosperity, and the strength of the nation. But in 1943, during the height of the war, the U.S. Mint made pennies from steel coated with zinc instead of copper, because copper was needed for ammunition. That change didn't go over well. The steel pennies rusted, mistaken for dimes. So, by 1944, the Mint returned to using copper, specifically, melted down ammunition shells from military stockpiles. That brings us to the 1945 wheat penny. Most of them were struck using recycled shell casings, which gave them a slightly different tone and composition. But here's the mystery. Among the millions of pennies produced in that year, a few were made with unexpected variations. Some were struck with leftover steel planchets from 1943. Some had double die errors. And some had misaligned mint marks. These rare errors, when combined with the historic timing of 1945 and their pristine condition, are what skyrocketed the value of a select few pennies into the stratosphere. Now let's talk about mint marks. In 1945, the U.S. Mint struck pennies in 3 different locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Coins struck in Philadelphia carried no mint mark. Denver coins had a small D under the date, and San Francisco coins had an S. Among these, the most sought after are often the San Francisco issues, because they were struck in smaller numbers and had a slightly different strike quality. But the Denver Mint is where the real story lies for one particularly valuable 1945 wheat penny. Experts and coin collectors believe that only a handful of error coins from 1945 were struck on the wrong metal, steel instead of copper. One such coin, traced back to the Denver Mint, has made headlines around the world. This penny, seemingly ordinary at first glance, was found to have a composition inconsistent with the rest of the 1945 batch. Its color, weight, and reaction to a magnet confirmed that it had been struck on a leftover steel planchet from 1943. This coin, an accident, an error, a once-in-a-lifetime mishap, was auctioned for a staggering $30 million. Yes, you heard that right. $30 million. Why would someone pay that much for a 1-cent coin? The answer lies in rarity, history, and condition. Coin collectors live for the thrill of finding that one coin that no one else has. And when it's tied to an iconic time in American history, and when it's certified in near-perfect condition by top grading services, the value becomes more than just money, it becomes a legacy. That 1945 steel wheat penny isn't just a coin. It's a symbol of wartime sacrifice, a mistake turned into a masterpiece, and one of the rarest coins ever made by the U.S. Mint. But even if you don't have the ultra-rare $30 million version, don't worry. There are still thousands of valuable 1945 wheat pennies in circulation or in old coin jars in attics across the country. A standard 1945 wheat penny in good condition might only be worth a few cents, but a red, uncirculated example, especially with a mint mark, can fetch anywhere from $100 to several $1,000s, depending on the grade and rarity. And if you happen to find one with a double die error, off-center strike, or struck on the wrong planchet, you might be holding a small fortune in your hand. Let's talk about what to look for. First, check the mint mark. A clear, bold S or D can sometimes add value. Second, inspect the date under magnification. If the date appears doubled, meaning the numbers look like they have shadows, you may have a double die error. Third, weigh the coin. A genuine 1945 copper penny should weigh about 3.11 grams. If your coin is significantly lighter, around 2.7 grams, it might be steel. And here's the fun part: grab a magnet. If your penny sticks, you may have found one of the extremely rare 1945 steel wheat pennies. Now, you're probably asking, how can I sell a valuable 1945 wheat penny if I have one? First, don't clean it. Cleaning a coin can destroy its value instantly. Get it professionally graded by a trusted service like PCGS or NGC. Their certification adds legitimacy and increases the potential sale value. Then, you can contact auction houses, coin dealers, or sell it through online platforms specializing in rare coins. But remember, only deal with reputable experts. A coin this rare and valuable needs proper handling. So, let's recap what makes the 1945 wheat penny so special. It's a coin born in the final days of World War II. It's a coin made from recycled materials from the battlefield. It's a coin struck at 3 different mints, some with errors so rare they've become legends. And among them all, a single Denver mint penny struck on a leftover steel planchet rose above the rest, selling for a record-breaking $30 million. From your pocket to the world of numismatics, the journey of the 1945 wheat penny is a shining example of how history, rarity, and a little bit of luck can turn a humble 1-cent coin into a life-changing discovery. Who knows, maybe right now, tucked away in an old jar or hidden in your collection, you've got a penny that could be worth a fortune. Thank you for joining us on this incredible journey. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, subscribe to Penny Vault, and share this story with your friends and family. And don't forget to comment below, have you ever come across a rare wheat penny? We'd love to hear your story. Until next time, keep searching, keep collecting, and never underestimate the value of a single penny, because sometimes, 1 cent can be worth $30 million. Collectors who live for the thrill of discovering fortune in the most unexpected places. Today, we're taking a deep dive into a small but mighty treasure that may be hiding in your pocket, your piggy bank, or maybe even lying forgotten in a drawer. We're talking about the legendary 1952 wheat penny, a simple 1-cent coin with an unimaginable value of $21 million. Yes, you heard that right. One small copper coin. 1 cent $21 million. So grab a cup of coffee, sit back, and buckle up as we unravel the astonishing story of the 1952 wheat penny, explore its deep American history, its unique design, the minting mystery that gives it value beyond imagination, and how a coin meant for everyday transactions became a collector's dream. Let's begin with a little trip back in time. To the year 1952. It was a year full of emotion and transition. America was still healing from the wounds of World War II, the Cold War was beginning to stir, and Dwight D. Eisenhower was about to win the presidency. The average American home cost about $9,000, gas was 20 cents a gallon, and the penny, that humble copper coin, still held real buying power. But little did anyone know that one of these pennies, minted in the Denver Mint, would one day command a jaw-dropping price on the global market. The 1952 wheat penny was part of the famous Lincoln Wheat Cent series, which had been in production since 1909. Designed by Victor David Brenner, this iconic coin features the profile of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse side, a tribute to one of the most respected figures in American history. On the reverse, 2 wheat stalks frame the bold words, 1 cent and United States of America, a symbol of prosperity, agriculture, and unity. But what makes the 1952 edition stand out? Let's start with the D mint mark. That tiny letter under the date indicates that the coin was minted in Denver, Colorado, one of the most crucial mints in the United States. In 1952, over 746 million Lincoln cents were struck at the Denver Mint. So how could one of those common coins be worth over $21 million? The answer lies in a powerful mix of rarity, condition, historical significance, and minting anomalies. Among the massive number of pennies struck in Denver that year, there were a few special ones. Extremely rare coins that managed to survive in pristine, uncirculated condition. Most 1952 pennies were tossed into cash registers, used for candy bars and newspapers,